current selection process the best way to pick justices and judges? And if not, what do you think that would be?
Well, I don't think it's the best way, but I don't have an answer to the second part of your question, because that's something I'm going to have to look at in more detail. There are several different models around the country for how it's done. One of them is a appointment process by the governor, either with or without recommendations by a blue ribbon group or the bar of the state or whatever, and then a retention election at some point to determine whether or not the justice should continue, or the judge. In some circumstances, I think they have a determinate term, so if you're appointed for a period, it's simply that period of time and that's it. What we would use best here, I'm not certain. Michigan residents have made it very clear anytime anybody's ever asked them that they want to be able to elect their judges. Now, there may be a distinction to be made between judges, trial judges, and judges at the appellate level. And the reason would be, I think at the local level, the people do know their judges. They know who they are, and they're quite particular about who they put on the bench. I think that their ability to know the judges kind of decreases as you get to the appellate level. By way of example, my circuit, when I was a circuit judge for 21 years, was 3 counties. So those people knew me pretty well, and I knew them very well. When I went to the Court of Appeals, all of a sudden, I'm in the 4th District, which is 58 counties. So now those people know me less well, and my chances of knowing my constituents is more removed. Now, of course, you're looking at a statewide seat with the Supreme Court. So that's even a broader base then, and more difficulty. Our system, in my judgment, is flawed for a couple of reasons. The primary reason, I guess, one reason predominantly, is that judges run below the Supreme Court level and sit as nonpartisans. And they're on the ballot as nonpartisans. They're expected to act in a nonpartisan fashion. Justices of the Supreme Court run as nonpartisans, but in order to run, you have to be nominated by a partisan convention of either the Republicans or the Democrats. There is a third-party candidate, Robert Broadus. I'm not certain what his party is, and I don't say that to disparage him. I just haven't looked at him. He's run before. But so that's an anomaly. I mean, you go from nonpartisan to all of a sudden for a weekend, you have to go to a convention and be nominated by a party, and then you go back out and say, well, I'm nonpartisan. And I think that makes people shake their heads, and I think it breeds some cynicism. That needs to get fixed. Then it'd be very nice at some point if we can devise a way to get all the money out of the campaign system too, because number one, it's very difficult and very time-consuming to raise money. And secondarily, I think the general public can't understand how somebody could give somebody a fair amount of money and then have that person turn around and say, oh, well, it doesn't mean anything, they don't have any influence over me. I think they question that. It's not the normal human experience.